Good morning. Happy Friday. Get some charts up here. All right, I'm starting with SPX here. Looking at what I've looked at already. Um, so, look, yesterday was the unexpected, let's say, after that big up day that we saw, the big green day, and then the 50% gap down, and the markets couldn't rally till the end of the day. Little counter trend blip up there, but I think it sets up an ideal scenario for an unexpected bear market rally at this point. We had because look, this is in I would normally, and I guess I was still looking at it that way, but I don't believe it's going to follow through as a continuation pattern lower for reasons that I've already spoken about this week. But I'll just review quickly. Just in the short term, prices are extended lower from the August high. You had a wide range bar down, the obvious retracement into resistance, another wide range bar down. In some other video or in the weekend video for the letter, I explained, okay, this was a wide range bar down, but the wide range bar down are getting smaller. And here momentum is stalling, and it's stalling after a greater than 100% retracement where it's peaked under the prior June-July low. So multiple concepts coming together. And now we got this nasty reversal where the selling was stronger than the buying yesterday, yet the range is narrower, and it closed with a little minor bottoming tail bar. And so there was some negative economic news, more inflation confirmation. Futures popped down. They're up a little bit now, so they're just jiggling around here. As always, we're going to see where things end the day. But for spreads, I've written down 35, 25, or 25, 30. 30 might make more sense now that things have come up a little bit and up above, which should be a no-brainer as well. 35, 55, which is above these pivots. So let's imagine today is just like, holy crap, what a wild price action. And, it rallies all the way back up to the green bars high, which would put it up at resistance. Now to get above that, I mean, that would take like a crazy miracle kind of day in the markets. And I don't know what would drive that unless, Powell comes out and says, hey, everybody, I know I made a mistake about transitory, and I made, a mistake about it'll be soft landing. And now, you know what? I made a mistake and I went too far, and I'm not going to raise interest rates, but we know that's not going to happen. But so, 37.55, you can see is up above those pivots and into the gap fill. So even if it was to give us some heart palpitations coming up there, it would hit the next level or line of defense. And I don't think it could get much further anyway. So that's what I got. Yeah. All right, let's see where the futures are at. Now they're negative a little bit. So they're just jiggling around here. This was the news. And, it was up, now down. Same story going on here. Just, chopping back and forth. And as we always do, our factory work, the middle of the wide range bar, there's your 180 reversal after, the down and the measured move and the greater than 100% retracement. Well, I don't think you need to wait for 37.55, Rob, because if this jiggles around here, that's going to probably evaporate relatively quickly. And so the downside, you could get a little better, if this does drop some more. So this is staying there. So the 37.55, I would say just do it. But this could continue to drop into the open, and maybe you go to 3,500. But look what's going on here. I went through over this in the video last night. If you didn't see it, look at the open interest. Well, two. We looked at this in the green room yesterday, I think. 3,600. 3,600. It went down from the prior day, 15,000. Okay, it's bigger than what's around it. But look at 3,580. So that is going to be a line of defense in of itself if it gets down there. So just keep that in mind as well. Typically, these big open interest levels act as a line of defense. Now, if they hit down there and they go sideways for a half hour or so and don't bounce, that could get nasty. But I don't think that's going to happen after this big move to the downside that we've had. Look, let's face the reality of what we do. We look at our criteria based on the method that however you're going to trade it, right? We look at price action and market internals into market analysis, and we come up with a bias as to what we believe is going to happen. And then you place a trade and you see if you're right on that particular day, and you have your money management. That's the essence of it. All right. SPY. Is it gapping? Not really. Kind of unchanged, give or take. You can see the futures here, pretty much unchanged. So just hovering around there, even with the negative news that came out this morning. We're blipped down, and it's not like it's just water falling down again. So not much going on there. And hey, if the more time it spends down here, let's assume, hey, this is the end of the month. Typically, the end of the month, the beginning of the month are historically more positive than, maybe the middle of the month. And so the more time it spends here, and then eventually, let's say next week, we get a liftoff, I think it makes a no-brainer bias anyway for a counter trend rally. And then, of course, what are you going to trade for that counter trend rally? And we go and look at different stocks and sectors, so on and so forth, and patterns. But right now, we're just creating a bias as to what we believe the market will do in today and into next week. And then we'll see how it unfolds. And if things drastic happens, like yesterday's gap down, well, we'll make some adjustments. Right, NASDAQ futures. Yeah. Buy Yom Kippur. Does that come with a meal, McGraw? I'm kidding. If there's food, I'm there. All right. So unchanged here. We'll see if it's an inside day or whatever it might be. Same move down at support. Hey, prices go to support. You look to the left. It traveled a long way to get there. My bias shifts to momentum should slow. And we look for a turn. Basic. No indicators, no fib lines, no trend lines, no Gann lines, no Elliott waves. Just look at the chart, man. All right, Dow. Same story. I don't have to reiterate it. It's showing relative weakness. It blew past the June low more than anything else. And so, here at 29, maybe it goes a little bit lower. And I think ultimately, if we get this rally, which I believe we should next week, then because of the move down, we look for the next rollover. And I think, just because this is the most significant, level here, I think this could be the bottom potentially of where prices may eventually start to, jiggle around a bit into the midterm election. And if I've already said, if, the Republicans take over the House and the Senate, we get Washington locked up, some things will happen, but, you get a lock on things and the markets love that. So look, if you want the stock market to be going up or making money, easier to trade, less volatility, vote red. Ah, 37.55, and I had 35.30 at 35 and a quarter. So maybe the quarter, um, if things continue to move down. All right. Yeah, if it goes down at the open, I think 3,500, we should have enough juice there. Which there is not now, unless that's not enough to do it. But look, for a little bit, 35.15. That ain't going there today. All right, Russell, same story. Transports, down, but hey, inside day, showing some relative strength there. Yeah, yeah. 35.40. Is where we think it won't go, but it was juicy. And Bitcoin. Now, keep an eye on this. Just set an alert down here. Just in case it takes a dive. Just like we look at our dashboard, which way is the VIX going? Where are the NYSE ticks? DB Puck, we already have a disaster. Don't tell me Republican House and Senate, bunch of crooks. They're all crooks. Pick your crooks, man. We all know they're crooks. Let's not get into that. We're not naive about who the crooks are and who the crooks aren't. They're all crooks. All right. So keep an eye on this down here, what Bitcoin is doing. And silver, just been kind of dead, chopping back and forth. If you like getting beat up there, gold looks like it's gonna make another drop, and where's my UUP? Sometimes I sort these and then I can't find the symbols. So, gold, there was some stabilization, but the dollar weakening, it's in an uptrend that got extended. Buyers are going to show up. And as long as, these interest rates stay high, and you can watch the 3-month here, if it clears these highs, set an alert. And this backed off, but it's in an uptrend. There was a big red bar. That's the 10-year. But you give the benefit of the doubt to the trend. We are getting a topping tail on the weekly. So, this kind of stuff where interest rates come down a little, they stabilize, they're not going up. Markets that support greater than 100% retracements, our internals. What we talk about, we're building our bias and plan. And so interest rates coming down a bit and stabilizing is in alignment with a bias that the markets could have a counter trend bear market rally. All right. Crude oil, still weak, doing nothing here. You can look at, to the pound, the government came in there and try to stabilize. They stabilized. Now another sell setup. Traders are going to be more confident to sell it. But it's a decent rally. Just like we see topping tails on, on interest rates, bottoming tail bar here, US dollar comes down a little bit. Again, everything lining up to bear market rally coming probably next week. All right. And Dan will go over what's moving. And if we don't speak, which I guess we won't, we'll be back on Monday. Rob's asking me to double check numbers or bid off, so I'm double checking this, what I had for support and resistance. If you're talking about SPX, Rob, don't worry about exactness. All right, just here's your resistance right there. Those pivot highs. First support is yesterday's low. 3,600's a whole number. I got 3,580 because of the open interest. Below that, look out below. And I don't think so, but look out below because it's already traveled so far. You're in the room. We'll talk while you're
And
there.
yeah, traveled so far and the breadth. Greg, we got to go back and look at that. It shouldn't be hard, right? Why just go back a couple years and see how low that thing got? Because that's interesting information. All right, so yeah, yesterday I was hoping we were going to have follow through. Obviously, we didn't, so I went into defense mode. Stopped out a couple of the put spreads. We're still in 3 of them. And, just like Greg said, I mean, shorts are hard. If we do another waterfall for a day trade, fine. But I'm just patiently waiting for the turn, and then we're gonna trade the bounce, and it's gonna be put spread heaven again. Raul asking about iTub. Sure. Yeah, it's in a trading range, deep retracement, got smacked right back down. But in this environment, whenever I see bullish alignment of moving averages like this, I say that that's incredibly impressive. And so I don't expect it to make a new high, but over yesterday's high, sure. Yeah, it could be a 1 to 3 day trade. Why not? So my favorite gapper here today for 0 DTE is Nike. We haven't been doing many foot spreads into earnings lately. Number one, because we're at the tail end of it. Number two, I don't like the patterns. Number three, I like selling put spreads when the market's in a good mood, because I just think that they're going to get more punished now than they are rewarded. And the gap downs prove that. So look at Nike here. Closed at 95. It had the options market priced in an expected move of $5.35. And so I'm just eyeballing this. It's 5.35 plus an additional 7.50. So this nasty gap is way more than 2x the expected move. That's massive. So I am going to be all over this, waiting for stabilization. I'm shorting 0 DTE puts on this. Obviously, we'll also be looking at our usual suspects. The index ETFs are the same thing. A couple other, and then we can also look at the cousins, as we always do. So McGraw's usually good at that, helping me. So, DKS, Crocs. So that could be a call spread, actually. That's an ugly gap. That's a sell. There you go. There's the Crocs as a sell setup and a gap down. So they're right there. I got us a 30-minute low sell setup right there. Short 30-minute low. Stop yesterday's high. There's a couple climbos I've been watching that just do not want to turn. Look at poor SMGs just getting dumped. Charter, this one's at least stabilized and it's trying to build a base. So maybe I put this in the weekend letter. Today's Friday, so over Wednesday's high would be a 1 to 3 day bounce and a put spread. This thing I see gapping up here, bottoming pattern. So that's worth watching. IONQ. I got MU on the other computer. MU was the other big earnings stock. Was up a little bit, now down. Nothing to do. We'll come back to it. And then CCL had earnings. That was up a little bit. Now it's tanking. There must be some talk on that, but the weekly charts are their consolidation and downtrends with failed bottoming tail breakout. I mean, not bottoming tail, bottoming pattern breakouts. They failed. AMD Thomas, day trade short. Yeah, just like, the last 2 days, shorts are going to be trickier, but we'll consider everything. Let's just wait a little bit. I was working on a chart this morning on this FedEx gap down because next week, MT Live, we have trading on news. And then, this very well could now be setting up another tradable bottom for a put spread. Oil had a nice bounce on Wednesday. There's a lot of these that look like 1, 2, 3s for a bounce. This had earnings yesterday. I don't know, there's nothing to do there. I just looked at Disney yesterday and today. They're gonna start opening up their Orlando park in phases, but if that gets over Wednesday's high, then that's a no-brainer put spread. SAI, I think, yeah, I forget if this was earnings or what. It was up, but now it's down. And we just had on our list as a 1, 2, 3. I also had Starbucks as a 1, 2, 3. And that looks good. As long as the market's holding or rallying, you can buy the high of this. I think I have an alarm at 87.40. Let me check. 87.30. I have an alarm. All right, cool. Yeah, that's a good new long. RCII. I think they did a pre-earnings announcement, and that's getting whacked. The gap's too big. Hurl. Let's see. I have something. Who just asked me? Thomas, day trade short. I like this pattern better. Whenever the markets are extended and I'm still looking for a short, find ones that are closer to resistance. So look at all these bars declining 20, tails, closing breakdown. That's a lot better as a new short. And that Crocs that I mentioned. LSCC, why am I looking at you? Oh, if the semis decide to hold over Wednesday's high, but NVIDIA is still weak. There's a 1, 2, 3 and a downtrend. It's after 100% retracement. That ain't bad at all. I'm going to set an alarm 53.40. Yeah, last night I was scanning 1, 2, 3, some wide range bars. That's where I found these things. 53.40. Builder. Yeah, 1, 2, 3. Yeah, there was, believe it or not, a number of 1, 2, 3s in the scan last night. 58.50. We're still weakening here, the horsemen. So the opening is going to be tough again. Bravo Lima. There's another one. 1, 2, 3 and a downtrend. A workday. Yeah, I got all these from the 1, 2, 3 scan. If that can, that is a beautiful put spread over Wednesday's high. I'm going to set an alarm at 150, 156.80, whatever. That is a beautiful put spread pattern. Yeah, Lulu. Yeah, Lulu's yeah, that's moving with Nike. Sure. Sure. Yeah, that could be a new day trade short too. C-Max is strength. Look at that beautiful clothing. And look at the moving average. That looks great. This might even be on its own page. I'm gonna set an alarm to 762. Yeah, I was shocked last night with the weak market. There were still like 130 wide range bars. There's a Climo. Climo's all over the place. 1, 2, 3 in a downtrend, but the others are better. There. Now see, this one has a multiple bar turn from a Climo. So that's Jazz, which is pharmaceutical, but that looks like a no-brainer put spread over yesterday's high, provided the markets are holding. Thomas BBN. I see one print up here at 7. It's not liquid, but you need a pullback. That's extended for me. IHI, another 1, 2, 3, Climo. I'm gonna set an alarm 4820. Oh, that's a ETF. CIR. Why am I looking at this? Oh, Climo on major support. So, downtrend, daily, weekly, monthly. So again, and unless you see those 3 moving averages up, then as a general rule, these are just 1 to 3 day swing trades is all. GCT had earnings gapped up. Hey, this could be the start of a long-term bottom. It's a recent IPO. Look at that, went up to $60. What the heck do they do? Let's see Micron on the other computer. Having some crazy moves here pre-market. All right, so we looked at those 3 earnings stocks. C's, it's down a lot, but under yesterday's low, could be a day trade short. Calyx, long watch, Pepsi, been weak. THC up alarm, Dollar General over Wednesday's high would be a put spread. All right, THC alarm. There's a Climo with a 1, 2, 3. That's the one we just talked about. All right, Nike here. I'm just looking at the puts, a little spready. But the 80s right now for 0 DTE, 50 by 60. But there's, I'm not touching it. I'm just wanting to see how juicy they are. 79s are 25 by 60. I mean, that's one of